I think gym photos are so acceptable now.
Like in the mirror, like flexing in the mirror, gym selfie?
Yeah, if you got it. I was showing moms how to brush their baby's teeth, and I just like wrapped my legs around his arms so that he can safely be underneath and I can brush his teeth. Newsweek picked that one up and said I was traumatizing my child.
I saw that.
I do my skincare, which is very important to me. And I
break it down real quick, just briefly, because I got a little skincare routine too.
I'm so glad you do. Like Byron will not even wear SPF, and he uses bar soap. He uses a shampoo from his head to wash his face. Oh my God.
Welcome to episode number 5 of Body Never Lies. I'm your host, Dr. Ernest Kim. And today, my guest, you may have seen her on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. She is everywhere. And if you haven't seen her yet, you'll probably see her soon. Dr. Joyce, Joyce the Dentist, JTD, welcome.
Hi. What's up?
Joyce, we've never met. Like, this is the first time we're even talking.
I know, that's so weird.
But I feel like we're good friends. Like, I feel like I know you really well.
Uh-huh.
Is it just me?
No, totally mutual.
Are we friends and you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. I think it's so weird that we haven't met because I feel like we have.
I think it's crazy. Like making friends, like we don't live that far, but like making friends, like you've never met in person, but you see their videos, you see their content, you interact with them through stories and messages, and there's like a relationship. Even though we haven't met in person, it's almost like I know about you, I know about your life. It's like the first time in human history that this has happened. People can talk to a large audience, and this is the first time.
Yeah, even now as you're talking, I'm like tripped out because I feel like we've met.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've met, right?
Well, how did we meet?
We haven't.
We met on Instagram.
No, oh yeah, we did meet on Instagram.
Yeah. And I think this is how I remember it. I was just starting off making content and you came up on my feed and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I never thought you could do so much with dentistry and keep it interesting and funny. And, so I immediately just like gravitated towards your content. I think I might have messaged you or responded to you or something like that. And I think that's how it started. That's how I remember it. How do you remember?
I don't remember at all.
You just have so many friends.
I'm like, where did I first hear, you go to Artsy?
Yeah.
So when you know one dentist, you know every dentist. I think it's also to take it a step further. It's not just that we're interacting on the internet, but I learned this because of marketing. There's levels of closeness, and in real life, you're close if you're friends with someone. But when you've never met someone, that closeness digitally is very different, and that closeness increases the more times that we show up on the feed and also on different platforms. I've learned is, so if you see me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, those platforms compound. And the fact is that people feel even closer. And then on top of that, we have a lot of friends in common. So I'm seeing you show up on like Anthony's feed or Judy's feed. And so everything really like compounds. And then it's really funny because people always say like the social media thing is almost strange in a way because it's a parasocial relationship where one person knows so much about the other person and the other person doesn't know that much about you. Except in our case, because we both share on social media, but not everybody does. So it's interesting times.
Are there times when you meet someone and they ask you a question, how was your vacation? And then they act like they don't know where you went. But obviously they know where you went because how else would they have known that you went on vacation? Because they catch themselves. How was your vacation? And then they catch themselves like, oh, that could sound kind of creepy or sound weird. Have you had that experience?
Not really. People tell me pretty much straight up like, oh, I follow you. So they know everything already. But they'll ask me like, how's potty training going? Because I've been talking about potty training. So they'll like want further updates on it. Does it happen to you?
It's happened. I mean, it's even happened to me as like me talking to somebody else where I would say it and go like, let's say I hadn't seen someone in like 5 years. Right. And then, but I follow them and I know what's going on in their life. And I happen to run into them at the grocery store or something. And I'm like, oh, you know, how's your son? But 5 years ago, she didn't have a son or something. You know what I mean? And I catch myself like, or, you know, like, how was your vacation to wherever you went? Obviously, the only way I know is, you know, because it was on the feed. And I catch myself saying that. And because like I basically know where they went and what they did. But then to start a conversation in real life, it's weird if you know that. Like if you're asking them how was their vacation, but then you already know about it, it's kind of awkward. Like you have to pretend like you don't know what they did.
I think we are actually talking about the same thing, but I think I thought it was different.
So how did it all start for you? Like what year did you start making content, and what was that like?
I started Instagram in February of 2018. What about you?
Okay. Like when I first started my account, or when I first started posting regularly? I think there's a difference.
Ooh, both.
I think I started Instagram in 2012, I think.
What? That's so early.
Yeah, when it was just like, oh, I don't know if you remember, but when Instagram first started, you would post pictures and add a filter. And that was like so unique at the time. And that was so cool about Instagram is everyone's feeds had these filters on it with pictures. That was my very first memory of posting on Instagram. I was always a very private person. My profile was always on private. I never, made it public. And I always felt like I had two lives. I felt like I had like my professional life, the chiropractor, acupuncture, the professional seeing patients life, and then like my personal life, which I always felt like there was a clash. Like there's a meme of Ice Cube driving, like before work, he's dressed in like a suit and then after work, he's like a gangster. And that's like how I feel my life has been. And so for me, social media was always, and like when I was in school, they were always like, you got to be careful of how you post and what you post because your patients might see you and you don't want to post pictures of you partying. And it was so different then. Like now it's the opposite. It's complete opposite now. So I didn't start posting regularly and like putting myself out there until 2022. Well, sorry, 2020, but slowly. And then 2022 was like, okay, now I'm going to post twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever. You started in 2018 and did you start right off the bat, just like making videos and posting or?
No, it was photos back then too. And I had no idea how to use Instagram. Like literally no idea. Like I didn't know how to, what a hashtag was. So I had no game plan. Like I started and there were not that many medical people on the platform at the time. I remember there's like Audrey Zhu. Do you know who she is? She's like a doctor. She's the Barbie, the Filipino Barbie.
No, I don't know.
She was like an OG. There's Austin Chang. There were a couple people who were like OGs, Dr. Jen and Juice. And other than that, there weren't that many dentists. And I had no idea like how Instagram would help my business. I actually did not put 2 and 2 together. I just started like trying to figure out how to do Instagram. I remember I was teaching at USC at the time and I had asked one of the students who was growing how she grew on Instagram because I was like, oh my God, I just want to get like some free scrubs. So I was like, how do you do it? And she's like, she's like, it's a lot of work and you have to post a lot. And she's like, do you have any photos? I was like, I don't have any photos because literally before Instagram, no photos of myself. I hated taking photos and then Byron doesn't take photos of me. And there's no videos and I deleted all my photos from like when I was in dental school because I was like the heaviest I had ever been in my life. And so I had nothing to post basically. And so one of the hardest things is like trying to find stuff to start posting when you do decide you want to post, especially if you have nothing. And there was no videos at the time. So I feel like now you can just like make a video, but if you don't have a photographer and some nice photos, then there's like nothing that you can post.
Yeah. For me as a guy, like I told myself I would never take a selfie. Like I made a vow I would never take a selfie. And so I didn't have a lot of pictures either. That was a challenge at first. Like I need to start taking pictures. I need to start gathering content. I think it's easier as a female, I think, to take selfies and pictures without it being weird. And I think now as a guy, if you take selfies, it's not as weird. But like 2018, like you said, it was really weird. It was only like the guys taking selfies at the gym. It's kind of like
Oh, yeah.
considered douchey. Some people still think it is, right?
I think gym photos are so acceptable now.
Like in the mirror, like flexing in the mirror, shirt off, flexing in the mirror, gym selfie.
Yeah, if you got it.
Well, like on dating profiles, there's girls that actually put, if you take gym selfies, don't bother messaging me, or like, don't bother messaging with me. Well, like some guys, that's all they have. Like all 5 pictures are like gym selfie pictures. Like
I think it's because if you take photos of yourself, you appear to be kind of self-absorbed.
Yeah, I think so.
And also, I noticed that the guys that take those photos, they have pretty good bodies. And so it's kind of like they're just trying to show it off. And so one of the things I started doing was, well, I'm totally not in shape. I used to be pretty in shape. I used to work out like crazy. Now I'm not in shape at all, but I try to still post pictures of myself after I worked out, even if like my stomach is so bloated, because it's just real life, I guess. It's not like, oh, look at my body, I'm so fit, because I'm not. It's kind of like, I worked out today, go me, yay.
Yeah, like you mean like on your story?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What was the first video that popped off for you? Like what year was that?
For like the first several years of being on Instagram, I never had anything pop off, really. I've never really gone super, super viral. Like,
what's super, super viral?
I've had things reach a couple million views, which I would say that's viral.
Yeah.
But I never have anything that reaches like 20 million views, or, you know, like something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, even over 10 million views. I think where I first went viral is actually on TikTok.
What video was that? And what year?
I had some semi-viral moments on TikTok early on, but nothing really, again, it was just like a grind because I didn't really know what videos to make. And the first video that went viral, I think it was probably the one where I was talking about not kissing my baby on the lips, because that one got picked up by like Newsweek and they wrote an article on it. Oh no, Pop Sugar. I don't know. It got picked up by media outlets. And then the second one that went viral was, again, something to do with my baby, where I was showing moms how to brush their baby's teeth if they're solo. And I just like wrapped my legs around his arms so that he can safely be underneath and I could brush his teeth. Newsweek picked that one up and said I was traumatizing my child.
I saw that. I saw that video.
There were a few things that did go viral, like not always good viral, bad viral.
Hey, so did you start growing your audience in like 2020, 2021, like when COVID hit and everyone was blown up? Is that when you kind of grew, or did you grow before that?
For Instagram?
Just in general, yeah, I guess, like when you started growing a following.
Okay, so Instagram, I was slow growing, but basically every year I was going up like 10K. And I think I really started shooting up. I think it was last year when the reels were taking off. I went from like 50K to 100K in 1 year,
Wow.
Which is really fast growth for me because I was a slug. I was just like posting all the time and just being super, super consistent because I was just trying to find a way to make dental content a little more appetizing for people. Like the truth is, dental content is like the ugly stepchild where no one really cares about their teeth as much as like their skincare and stuff like that. So it's a challenge. You have to make it more fun for people to digest. But Reels gave me the opportunity to do that. And I just was like pounding it for like 1 year. Now I'm kind of back to like my normal cadence, just like 2 to 3 videos a week. 2 years ago is I think when Instagram really started growing. And then TikTok, I had started an account 2019, but I could not figure out that platform for a really long time. I just felt really old. And so I was just trying out different things, like throwing mud at the wall and seeing what was sticking. YouTube, I had started also in 2019, maybe 2020. And that one was purely a hobby, where I was just doing vlogs. That one I didn't really like expect to grow a lot because how many people are really interested in my life versus like educational content, but it was to capture memories. That one, YouTube, I actually blew up probably last year or the year before, where I went from like 4,000 subscribers to I think I have like 450,000 subscribers now.
On 1 year?
All within like a year and a half.
Wow. That's awesome. When you started out, when you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start posting consistently. Did you start posting on all the platforms? Like when you decided to do that?
I added a platform at a time. So Instagram was my number one. TikTok, I was just like slowly doing it. YouTube in my head was a completely different platform. Like the purpose of it was different. So I just added one at a time, and it is exhausting because there are so many platforms now and so much expected for creators. And in the beginning, I was creating reels specifically for Instagram, and then also separately for TikTok. So I would make videos natively within each platform. And that was a lot of work.
How do you come up with all your ideas?
Man, I don't know. I mean, like, how many ways can I talk about toothpaste? I've been on the platform for like 6 years now. So I'm basically recycling topics and trying to find new ways to talk about them that make people like excited. It's getting hard because I'm out of stuff to say.
But the way you package it, the way you present it is always so creative, so fresh. Like, even though you're talking about the same topic, the way you present it is always new. It's always different. So for someone like me who doesn't know much about teeth and oral health, it doesn't sound or seem recycled at all.
Oh, thank you.
That's why I'm like,
notion.
that's why I'm amazed. Like, how do you do that? Because when I first started out, I first started making videos on YouTube about lifestyle habits. Because back then, if you were in the medical or health field and you were on YouTube, you were teaching, talking. They're long videos, boring, blah. Like, no one will watch it right now unless you already have, a huge following. But I started off doing that, and then I quickly ran out. Not that I ran out of ideas, I ran out of inspiration. Like, every time I felt inspired, I was like, all right, I'm going to make a video, and I would just talk because I have that energy. But you don't always have that inspiration throughout the day. Like, when life happens, you get busy with life and work, and you know what I mean? So I'm always amazed at, like, how do you make all this content, and where is it coming from? Like, do you just sit at home and go, oh, this is what I'm going to do? I have a fresh idea.
I have a Notion planner, and anytime I'm just scrolling, and even if it's not a dental video, if it's like a random person's beauty video and I like the hook or something, then I'll just copy paste it into Notion, and then I'll be able to find something to talk about with that new hook. And if you start a video with a different hook, then it leads you down a different path, even if it's the same topic.
Do you sometimes feel like it's hard to do both, being a dentist and a content creator?
It is totally hard. Like, isn't it crazy that this is now the expectation of small business owners? It's like you create content and you also, marketing content for your business, and then you're also like running your business and doing things in your, like, actually drilling teeth and stuff. I find that is very difficult. And so sometimes people will message me and say like, oh, can you do a behind the scenes vlog of you at work? And if you watch my vlogs, you'll see that like it's literally never when I'm actually working, because I can't switch my brain between content creation mode to dentisting mode. They're like two different gears. And so I block my days. Like, Thursdays is my content creation day, and I can go in the zone doing that, but I can't, like, at work just start making content. Like, it just doesn't, I can't switch my head from one to the other. Can you?
No, I'm the same way. I used to work 4 days a week, and one day was like admin. I would come in and do all my admin work. But now I took an extra day off to do content because I can't do it all. And I was getting burned out. Like, okay, you have like 5 times the audience that I do, right? I'm overwhelmed. I can't even imagine like what it's like for you to be able to do all this. On top of that, you have a family. Like, how do you manage your time?
I just do what I can. Well, here's the thing about content is you have to start making a little bit of money in order to hire people to help you, to be on multiple platforms. I think if you're just on Instagram, or for anyone listening, if you're just on Instagram, you could potentially just do that on your own. You don't need to hire out. But when you start having TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, blog, Facebook. Like there's so many. You need to start like delegating it a little bit and seeing yourself as the talent. And even then it's a lot. Even if you are just the talent, it is still a lot. But it's hard for a lot of people to scale, like make that jump, because it requires money to be able to hire people to do certain things. And you don't make money until you have a system sort of going where you have the followers and stuff and you can start monetizing the content. So it's like you're stuck, or a lot of people get stuck. But thankfully, because I have my dental business, I was able to make it sort of like a marketing budget in the beginning. But now they're two separate companies, but in the beginning it was sort of marketing. And then I was able to infuse like a little bit of money into the content creation business.
I think in healthcare, like you said, people running a business like you and I, that is one advantage, I think, of creating content is we can allocate marketing budget. Maybe we were spending X amount on Yelp ads or something, and now we can allocate that towards content creating. Whereas someone who's just purely a content creator might have a much harder time doing that, right? Mm-hmm. Allocating money for that. But the pros for them is they have time. They have more time to create content, whereas we have less time. Some days I feel like if I want to take this seriously, I have to cut down even more, like my work days. You know, like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, how is this possible? How can you run a business, see patients, and still make quality content and have enough time for all of that and have a life?
Well, I don't really have a life. I'm like, people always ask me like, what's your hobby? And I don't have hobbies. I will watch Netflix if I have time, but I just hang out with Preston, who's my son, and I make videos, and I really like Instagram. I think in the end, if you actually like doing social media, it shows because it doesn't feel like such a chore. But that's also hard because then the line gets blurred between something that is work versus something that you bring home. I think that's like very difficult for people.
Yeah, I'm the same way. People ask me like, what are your hobbies? Or like, how was your weekend? And like, I'm like, it was good. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I was just editing like all weekend, you know, but it's a creative outlet for me. I really enjoy, doing this, even though it's hard, because it's like I get to really be creative. Like even in my work, I'm sure you might relate to this. When you see patients and when you're doing your craft, do you feel more like an artist as opposed to like a doctor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's what drives me, I think, is being lost in time just flies by because I'm able to work with my hands. If I had a desk job, I don't think I could do it. Yeah,
I'm the same. Like when I'm with patients, I get into this zone of like, I feel more like an artist, you know, I'm listening. Like every session is different. It's unique based on what their needs are for that day. And that part of my brain kind of translates into my content. But explain to people what it's like being a content creator. People think it's, you have, you know, so many followers, it must be nice, or you get brand deals. Like people see the glory, people see the glitz and glam and all of that. But what is it really like? Are you doing this for here's my question to you. If it wasn't connected to your business, would you still do it?
Yes.
Explain.
Wait, would you not?
Well, in the beginning, okay, I guess let me rephrase that. Did you get into this to benefit your business, or did you get into this to become a content creator?
It was 100% to benefit my business because early on I got a patient from Instagram and it was like a cash paying patient. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And right now, this is fast forward 6 years. Instagram is my number one source of patients. And we've been able to drop all of our insurances, and they supply all of my like high ticket cases, which is basically like smile makeover cases. And I've been able to drop my marketing spend to like almost nothing. So Instagram has always been a marketing tool for my business. That's basically what kept me going, even on the days where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, man, I have to freaking post something again. No, just because it was working, I just kept trying to learn more. Again, I started without any knowledge of how social media works. And so I really had to become a student of the game and just keep posting things and seeing what was working and what didn't. And I would show up even if I didn't want to, because it was supplying patients to my practice. I didn't actually start to monetize Instagram until I left USC, which was 2020. And that was deliberate. I think when you work in a corporation or like a big company like that, what do you call it? It's institution. They can take like a portion of the money if it's not written in your contract specifically. So I held off on that, but I didn't monetize until 2020. And I started just doing small things here and there, especially during the pandemic when we were closed. That's when I started doing more brand deals. What was the question again?
The question was, some people look at it like, oh, you're doing this for clout, you're doing this for fame. And I tell them, I'm doing this because it helps my business. And I never thought it would. I never thought it'd even be possible until you start getting people in the door who find you. And you're like, holy crap, this thing actually works. I better keep doing it. And then after doing that for a while, you kind of become, my life kind of not revolves around this, but it's become such a ingrained part of my life now. Like I can't separate it anymore. I can't separate it from my work self and my personal life. And it's just like, it's become a part of who I am, but the root of it is connected to my business. Like if it didn't benefit my business, I don't know if I would continue to do this. Maybe I would because it's such a creative outlet for me, but it might not have the same type of relevance or importance, I guess. So I guess that was my question to you if you related to that.
Oh, I see. Now I have two businesses. I have the social media business and I have the dental business. And there was a period of time when I was thinking about straight up leaving dentistry, because for the amount of time that I spend on the social media business, it generates a pretty good amount of income where I could live like a normal life and I could go to Pilates and be like a mom and be more available. Cause right now I'm working at the practice 4 days and then doing the social media 1 day. And when I was weighing it, I was like, oh, I only spend 1 day on the social media, and the social media there's so much opportunity with the social media. And I think when I started seeing income from it, I was shocked. I know my husband was shocked because for a while he was asking the same question, like, is this for your business or is this because you want to be famous? And then when he started seeing like income from it, he was like, I get it. I get it now. But yeah, I think even if I left my dental business, since this is now its own business, I would keep going. And it's not even really about, there's money in it, but it's opportunity. There's so many opportunities that come with putting yourself out there. I'm excited to see what every year holds, because you never know what's going to happen to your life because you put yourself out there and people are able to connect with you and present opportunities for you that you would have otherwise never had. So I think that's why I keep going. And it's weird that you asked me about the famous part, because I've had this, literally had this conversation with my therapist. Basically what we boil it down to, he's explained to me that I don't care about being famous, which sounds counter intuitive. I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but it sounds like opposite of what you would think. Counterintuitive. Yes. Because my ultimate goal, if I were to do social media, is to be unfindable. And this is going to sound so crazy, like I'm psychotic lunatic. But with dentistry, I always have to go to work and people can find me if they wanted to. I'm tied to a physical location. But with social media, I want to go even be off the grid, and I could just post onto Joyce the Dentist or post on my blog. And if people have a complaint, nobody cares. You're not going to find me. You can't find Joyce anymore. Joyce is off the grid. That's my ideal life, actually. I'm an introvert. I mean, it's very, in line with that. But I want to be so big on social media that I don't even exist. Does that make sense?
It makes sense for me because I'm the same. I never got into this for fame. Like I told you, I'm a very private person. And even like growing up, my aspirations were never to be like a rock star or be famous, or that never appealed to me. And it still doesn't. Like, I want to be like, there's days when I wake up and I'm just like in my sweats and like just grunge. Like, I just want to go out to a restaurant and eat in private and like leave me alone. Like, nobody, like, talk to me. You know what I mean? There comes a time when that won't be possible if you get to a certain level of recognition. And I don't want that. But I think there's a perception of that. Like my friends, there's still a good number of my friends that they think I'm doing it for clout, or they think like it's still cringe to them, and that probably won't change because they're my friends. But some of them probably think like I'm posting this for ulterior motives, but it's like, no, no, motherfucker, because I'm making money and I need to survive. And like the perception, I think, is so altered with this. And you and I have kind of had a brief conversation about this, but it feels like our biggest supporters come from our audience and not from our friends and family.
Oh yeah, your friends and family are the first people to unfollow because they don't understand. Unless you're doing it, you don't understand what the grind is and actually how hard it is to even put yourself out there. And I think the perception is that social media is easy. And so you're just picking up the phone and saying, hi guys, blah, 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 blah. But when we have full-time businesses, there's so much effort that goes into trying to be present on social media. You have to have intention for that. And so what people think is like, oh, she's just trying to be famous or he's just trying to be famous. They don't realize it's not that necessarily. We're grinding here. We're doing what it takes because there's a wave right now and I feel it and it's not going to be like this forever. So we have to be present with the wave, surf the wave. And then when it fizzles, it fizzles. But that amount of like a head start or leverage that you get from the social media, I think it's worth doing while we can.
Well, what do you think? What's this wave?
We're still kind of in the midst of people, like everyday people monetizing. Like before, it used to just be influencers, right, who were on social media. And then now there's a wave of people with real jobs where it's not their full-time income. And I think the spotlight is on people like us right now because we're just a little bit more interesting because we bring a knowledge set education to the table. And I don't know what's going to be next. Maybe it'll go back to being the spotlight on influencers. But there are so many people who are trying to monetize this, and that's the trend. The other part of it is that a lot of these companies that I used to reach out to all the time when I was trying to get monetized, they did not know what social media was. They didn't understand how social media marketing was going to work for them. They now have allocated huge budgets for social media. And right now is still the wild, wild west where you can determine your fee. It's not like a calculation of, how many followers you have that determines your price. Because we have credentials other than followers, it is really the wild, wild west. And it's not going to be like that forever because all the young kids are now trying to do it and they're undercutting themselves really because like, especially in dental school, they're trying to make an extra buck because dental school is very expensive and they're willing to take whatever. It's almost like shooting themselves in their future selves in the foot by bringing that price lower and lower and lower and not really acknowledging what you bring to the table and what you're worth as a future doctor. I don't think it's the brand deals. It's going to be as lucrative in a couple of years.
Speaking of that, do you think it's harder to make content in 2024? It's harder to grow a following?
I think so. I think it's because that's what I've experienced, but there are other people that do grow fast. So I don't know. But personally, I feel like there are waves. Like right now, I feel like it's a little bit harder to grow. Not the hardest it's been, but a little harder. Like it doesn't, the needle doesn't budge as much for the amount of effort that goes in. And it really depends on the platform too. It is more saturated.
Yeah, I think someone put it this way. Before it was based on how many followers you had, you get more reach. And now it's less how many followers you had, but the quality of the content. So like you could have 500 followers or 1,000 followers. And if you make really good content, you can get 5 million views.
Yeah, I just don't have the bandwidth to make really good content all the time.
I know, me too.
That's the struggle is like high quality content takes more time. I've noticed this is how, it's saturated. I've noticed if I post a video talking about a specific thing and it does well, then there's a trickle down effect where like I'll start seeing a whole bunch of dentists who start making videos about the same thing, or they'll do the same video, or, it becomes all like very cyclical and it's like recycled content, which I'm not like necessarily poo-poo against that. I think, I respect them for putting themselves out there and for doing the research and replicating videos that do well. That's all part of the social media game. But it does start to feel a little like, who am I if everyone's copying me, right? I've posted enough educational content at this point where I would love to be just myself on social media and not just like a dentist posting educational content. But it's like a hard departure. It's hard to manage doing both.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do that too. I'm kind of getting bored of posting treatment videos. I want to do more of these. That's why I'm doing this, talking more and sharing more. But like you said, I think it's harder to make content now because it's so saturated. And then it goes back to how much time and resources I put into this to keep going.
I think the
people that rode the wave in 2020 grew like the fastest because I rode the wave down. I started posting in 2022. I wish I would have started in 2020, but I was too busy trying to survive. I was too busy trying not to die.
Yeah, we don't want to die. 2020 was the year that I actually started realizing I need another source of income other than dentistry.
I think 2020 was the time when we saw creators from medical fields, like the nurses dancing, going viral. And like, whoa, people actually, because, in chiropractic school, they drill into your head that like, oh, the loud cracking sounds, people get scared by that. So be careful, posting that kind of stuff or talking about it. So like they drill that into our heads. So like no one's going to want to see this. They're going to be scared, until the other chiros started putting mics and making videos and started getting popular. That's when I was like,
my favorite part is the
people
cracks.
like this. People like this ASMR. Like they feel relief from watching this. And by the time I decided to make videos, it was like 2022. Here we
Never
are.
too late.
Yeah, never too late. Never too late.
Well, you've grown quite the following though. So it's like, and I think it's compared to when I first started, like you're doing good. You did.
Yeah, but you know what?
Good.
I grew really quick, but then I sort of plateaued, like it's harder now. And then there's so many other chiropractors making videos. And the ones that started before me, I feel like they've already amassed a following that they're going to keep going. And a lot of people are going to find them first. And they're going to be recommended before me. You know what I mean?
I try not to like with dentistry, there are accounts that are bigger than mine, but I've realized just because they have bigger followings doesn't really mean there's less for me business-wise. So that's what keeps me going.
No, definitely. I think nowadays, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 versus 10,000. If you own your practice, you got to have something because people want to see, they want to be able to trust you before they walk in your door. And there's plenty of practices who are doing great and they're not killing it on social media. But I think it's still necessary. And I think eventually it might, I don't know about eventually, but I feel like it's the new business card, having an Instagram.
Oh, it is already.
I think it's going to replace dating apps too. Because you know why? When people meet, you don't know this. Not the game. But when people meet on dating apps, like let's say you strike a conversation, the next place they go to is your Instagram. Because 5 pictures, like you don't know enough. But then when you see their profile, you get a little sense of what their life is like and who they are,
That's true.
So I think Instagram is sort of like your business card, your calling card, your life card.
Your dating profile.
Your dating profile, your life profile. Well, like, do you look for it when you hire employees? Do you look up their Facebook or Instagram?
I haven't hired in a while.
Is that confidential?
Oh, no. I haven't hired in a while, so I didn't used to do that. No, I haven't looked them up before. Maybe I should. I'm very much like when I'm hiring, if I get good vibes, I'm like this girl, we're hiring her. I go very much based off my gut.
Yeah. Me too. Do you do a video call?
For interviews?
Yeah.
No, I want to see them.
Okay. But I'm saying
Because I want to see if they,
do you go from resume to in person right away?
Yeah.
Oh.
Every time I've done a video call, I'm like just a little disappointed. So I feel like people can do very well on video calls and not do well in an in-person interview. Like I like to see if they show up on time. I like to see what they wear. It's all the small things, I think, that really seal the deal.
I do the video call first and then the in-person interview after that. Because like what you're saying about the video call, that's how I feel about the resume. They could dress up the resume really nice.
But they can't fake real life.
No, I know, but I'm saying I do a video call first to kind of just feel them out, catch the vibe, and then in-person interview to do everything you're talking about.
I just go straight, real person.
Straight through. I got a question for you. I was going to ask you this earlier.
What?
If you were in your 20s and you...
how old do you think I am? No, I'm just kidding.
You know, it's funny. We're like the same age.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
By like a couple of years. But I feel like I kind of like look up to you. I feel like you're older. Huh? We've talked about this.
No, I'm younger than you.
I know. I told you that. I'm older.
I don't know how old I am. How old are you?
I don't know either.
Yeah, we don't know how old we are.
Yeah. But I feel like your life is so much more advanced than mine. Like you're at an advanced phase. I'm still like immature.
Why? You think because your personal life? Because I have a baby.
Just like everything, just like how you manage everything. You know, like I said, like if I had a baby, I'm trying to do all of this. Like I don't know how I could do it. That'd be wild. I'm sure I would. I'm sure I'd figure it out. I'm sure.
I think you would. Yeah, you would. It almost makes you better with your time because you have to be better with your time.
Yeah, like you have no choice, right? Mm-hmm. So here's my question: if you're in your 20s, you're in your early 20s, and you're a content creator, how do you see yourself? Joyce, the influencer, 20s and single. Do you think you could handle it?
Am I a dentist?
Ooh. Yeah.
I often think about this, maybe not in the same way that you're asking, but back in the day, I always wanted to start a YouTube channel. Like back when YouTube was new, I wanted to have like a makeup YouTube channel. Really? And I never did because I didn't have the balls. I never thought I was like pretty enough to be on YouTube. There's something where I was like, no one's going to watch because I'm not good enough at makeup. I don't photograph well or whatever. So I see myself if I were 20 right now and just starting
like
off
23, like 23.
23 is when I graduated from dental school. So take me back to then. I think I would be doing a lot more lifestyle content, maybe not as much skincare because I'm not like old enough, but more makeup, more fashion, I guess.
Okay, but how would you be out in the streets?
How would I be out on the streets? What do you mean? Out on the streets?
Not like professional. I'm not asking professionally. Like, how would you be? Like, you're 23, you met a guy at a bar, a club, and you're like, you know, he's asking for your Instagram, and you've got like 100K. You know what I mean? Like, how do you think you'd be? Like, would you still be humble? And you know what I mean? Because I would be a douche. I already know.
Would you?
I would.
Okay, wait. Tell me why.
Like now, where I'm at in life right now, I'm humble enough to know that this could be taken away at any moment. This doesn't define who I am, nor do I think it should. But I think if I was in my 20s, I think I'd let it get to my head.
You are so right. You are so right. No, yeah. So, okay. In that context, yeah. I feel like I wouldn't have as much of the maturity that I do right now with having a social platform. Cause I'm sure like I would be out and about on the streets trying to get as much free stuff as I can, hitting up people and saying, hey, can you send me PR? Trying to show my followers to get into the club.
Yeah, right?
Like, do you know who I am?
Oh my God.
I'm older, so I don't do that. And also I think it's the business ownership that has changed me the most because like I know how much it costs for brands to send me PR. You know, it's not like it feels free if you've never owned a business, but you know it's not free. It costs them money. So when they do send me stuff, I try to shout them out, even if, you know, I don't end up like using it. I'll just be like, oh, I got this today. Thank you. Ha ha ha. I'll try to do something. Whereas I know some people don't do anything. Like they'll just get it. And so I try to do that. I also think that I may have had a unhealthy relationship if I was in my 20s with social media because I'd probably put a lot of my self-worth into it. A lot more of my self-worth, like really it defines me. And that I think is a little unhealthy. The way that I approach it right now is like I've been growing these platforms and I'm like protective over them, but I've come to terms with a few things. I've come to terms that like even if I have the number, I'm not going to be like the it girl, the one to follow. I might have been for a short period of time back in the day, but I'm not anymore. And I'm okay with that. I'll let other people rise to fame and have their moment. There's enough room for all of us. I also do realize it can all go away in like a second. And if it did, I would start another account and just start doing it again. Like that's my mentality. But I think in my 20s, I would be like, oh my God, no. I mean, I would, it would suck if that happened, honestly. But in my 20s, I think I'd be like unable to recover from it because I'd be so bitter that all my hard work went down the drain. I wouldn't have the mental fortitude to come back and start and keep posting just like nothing had happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's still hard for me now. You know, I could lie and say, you know, negative comments don't affect me or, you know, I don't care what people think. And on some level, I've grown enough where before it would have hurt a lot more, but I'm still human. It still affects me. But in my 20s, I think I would have been way too fragile or my ego would have been so huge. Like no one's going to want to deal with me.
Yeah.
Oh my
like
God.
I feel like maybe me too. I would have been like, YOLO. Don't you ever forget my name.
Well, I have friends that are young, 23, you know, influencers, creators that they seem to be handling pretty well. I'm always amazed and like, wow, like if I was your age, I'd suck at this, you know, or I'd be a lot more unpleasant.
These young kids, they're a different breed of people. Oh. Like they're built differently than our generation.
Yeah. For sure.
It's good though. Like I think that they bring a lot of things to the table. Like they value a lot of things that are different than what we value. They think like mental health and things like that. So it's good. I'm glad that they're better equipped to handle the short-term social media fame.
Speaking of that, do your friends and family get mad at you if you don't reply back or you know, like you didn't reply to their comment or they texted you and you didn't get back to them right away? Do you have your notifications off? Like, do you turn everything off? Or?
I have you mean for Instagram?
Just in general. I mean, like you're on all the platforms, right? And like TikTok's calling you, YouTube's calling you, Instagram's calling you, and then you get text messages and you get emails.
I don't get notifications for the social platforms.
That's what I thought.
I don't get phone calls if they're not in my phone already. So I turned that off. I don't even know how I did that, but it's been amazing. I don't respond to texts very well. Like I'll have like 10 in a row before I'll sit down and I'll get back to all of them, but I'm very bad at the texting. I'm better at actually DMing than texting. And so all of my friends have started texting Byron instead.
All right, were you always like this or more since, you know, you make content now and like you have to allocate your time?
I was not always like that. I used to be pretty good with texting, but it's kind of reminds me of when I first got my first piece of snail mail and I was like, oh, I wish I'd get mail all the time. But now as an adult, I like hate getting the mail because they're all bills.
Yeah.
And then I feel the same way with text because before I had like be so excited if someone texted me. And now I'm like, God, I have another text.
Yeah.
And usually when people text you, they're asking you for something. And that I think always gets me. And they're not asking me for like money or anything. They're asking me to hang out. And I'm like, I can't handle this right now.
Yeah. I asked this because I don't think I don't want to say normal people, but regular people don't understand that our attention is constantly being asked, right? Like all the messages, the comments, and it's like for me, my friends, they all, oh, he's a bad texter. And I don't do that on purpose. I'm not ignoring you on purpose. It's just like my time and energy is zapped all the time. And I'm just doing my best to get back as soon as possible. Like if I'm working and you text me something like, hey, what do you want to do this weekend? I'm not going to reply to you like until I'm off work and maybe after the gym even, you know what I mean? Like I don't have time to just sit at work and text you. And sometimes I think my friends see me post a story while I'm at work and they just think I'm at my desk posting stories all day. I'm like, no, I'm skipping like my bathroom break to do this Instagram story because I feel like I got to get one in today. And then like I'm going to hold my pee until after work, like to do this. It just
totally. Well, I think people are built so differently, and I think we're built differently as people. And then the combination of content creation with whatever you're doing. For example, if you are a dentist or a chiropractor, that's one level. But then if you are also the owner of the business, that's a whole other beast versus if you are a content creator, but your side job is like dog walking. It's a little bit, or your real job is dog walking. The amount of like emotional investment that we make as healthcare professionals, it's deep. Like I remember we were talking about this earlier. It's like when we're working on people, it's artistic, but it's also takes up a lot of our energy. Like for me as a dentist, a lot of people come scared. So I'm absorbing a lot of that energy, but also like trying to figure out ways to make them feel calm and comfortable. And it takes a lot out of you after an entire day of doing dentistry plus content creation. So doing healthcare and content creation is definitely not an easy combo. There's very little left for other things if at the end of the day.
Like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I go from doing the dentistry, content creation, and then Preston's always my number one, but like he's in daycare a lot of times. So I feel kind of guilty if I'm not like with him 100% when I am with him. There's very little left to give for yourself at the end of the day, which it's still important to give to yourself. I do my whole skincare routine. That's my thing. But, it's not as easy as it may appear from the outside.
That's why the very first thing I said with you is that it's like the first time in human history where we could connect with so many people instantly. And I think there's going to be more studies. There has to be more studies done on this topic. And if it's even healthy, is it even healthy to be able to connect with this many people all the time? And if it is there a better way to do it?
I've actually felt that being able to connect with so many people has made me connect with less people on a deep level. Like I'm protective over myself and my time and everything a lot more. And I think I look around and I'm like, wow, it's kind of hard to get close to people now.
You know what? That's an interesting point because I just realized that I've been responding to my text messages like I do DMs because I'm so used to like quick replies now. Even for like work related things, I have to like rewrite it. Wait, that's too short. Like, what am I, like, oh, okay, thanks, cool. I can't do that, and I think this might not be exactly what you're talking about, but I think we're so trained to like quick, next, boom, boom, boom. Like we're not spending enough time and energy on the people that not matter, but like meaningful, deeper relationship. It's harder to cultivate that.
Yeah. I think I do that too. Like even when I respond to an email, I'm like, okay, cool, send.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the hard part is I just feel like people are always asking me for more and I don't have more to give. So I like shy away from the texts and stuff. And sometimes I've noticed especially people who are in the dental field that maybe have companies where they need access to a dental audience. Maybe they started a product company. Sometimes I can't tell if they actually want to be friends with me or if they just want help, or if they just want to pick my brain, or if they just want me to shout them out. I can't tell. It's getting harder and harder. And so I always like fall back on like me and Byron because Byron is my favorite person and he's like always there for me. And there's never, it's like level 3. I forget what level 1 and level 2 were, but like me and Byron have a good level 3 relationship.
Yeah, you're starting to be like the celebrity where you can't trust nobody because everybody wants something from you, right? And you're like, is this genuine or is this because they want something from me?
Yeah, well, I'm not a celebrity, but it's all strategic. Like when I have an Instagram course for dentists, and I kind of break down how you gain distribution. You can build your distribution. You can borrow distribution from others, and you can buy your distribution. And there's a lot of people who want to borrow because it's the easiest way and it's the cheapest way. And you're just piggybacking off of other people's platforms to get in front of their people. So it makes a lot of sense why they would want to do that. Because they don't want to build their own Instagram. It's too much work. They don't want to spend money on ads. That costs too much money. So why not just be friends with Joyce?
What inspires you and what keeps you inspired?
I think I'm in a phase of my life where I'm very uninspired. I've been devoid of inspiration for a few months. I mean, what inspires me? Nothing really right now. I get inspired in waves, but right now, not very much. Why?
Okay, like is there a vacation that, like you're planning for, or, like a big, I don't know, investment or property, or are you reading a book, or is there somebody that you like to watch their content because it inspires you? Like just anything. Is there anything that inspires you?
I see what you mean. I am extremely inspired to level up my dental skills always. One of the things I get excited for is continuing education courses. I pay like good money for these very expensive continuing education courses so that I could just like be the fucking best that I can be as a dentist. So that always excites me. Like every time I do a smile makeover, I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, did you see the photo? Like I'll send her the photos. I get so excited for that. Right now, me and Byron, we always are kind of on the lookout for real estate where we want more property and stuff like that. The problem with investing in California is it's just really expensive. And so I'm in a state of my business where I'm going to keep dancing on TikTok to make more money so that we can invest. So that's that. I'm also inspired to, like when I first started this year, I was like, okay, I have a plan for my YouTube, because my YouTube, I've grown it by being a dental professional, and I just want to be me. And I know that, sometimes you grow in the wrong direction and you're going to have to lose a lot of those followers, or you're just going to have to like take the smaller views until you build up what you actually want to build up. And I'm okay with that. I think the more I grew YouTube, the number of subscribers, the more I realized I'd rather have a better community than to have the number. So I'm growing in a different direction. But first, I'm going to start making dental videos, and then I'm going to start sharing more stuff that I like my jewelry. I'm really into jewelry right now. I'm really into Hermes right now. Trying to figure out, oh my God, every morning I wake up and I check Hermes, like Facebook groups. And I like watch lives of people showing their Hermes bags, and I've spent like $0 at Hermes. So yeah.
You have to have like a minimum, right? To get the break.
You have to spend a lot of money there to start getting bags, but I'm like in a very research phase. So I'm very into jewelry. I'm very into skincare. I'm very into handbags, Hermes bags in particular, that I don't know.
What skincare? Like, okay, do you have specific lifestyle habits? Like, I know you're not working out right now, but besides your skincare stuff, like, do you have a routine that you have to do to maintain all of this, to maintain your sanity?
Well, I drink wine every day.
Again? I thought you stopped that for a bit.
I stopped, but my life is so much better with wine.
Okay.
Also, I'm like, well, if I do get pregnant again, I'm not going to be able to drink. So I might as well drink while I can. So I do that. And then I do my skincare, which is very important to me. And I
break it down real quick, just briefly.
My skincare.
Because I got to know. Because I got a little skincare routine too.
I'm so glad you do. Like Byron will not even wear SPF, and he uses bar soap. He uses a shampoo from his head to wash his face. Oh my God. I can't. But I double cleanse. I've simplified my skincare a lot, but I use Bioderma. That's almost like a third cleanse. It's like unnecessary, but I'm just like a stickler for getting everything off my face. And then I use a retinol of some sort. I use something with peptides in it, elastin. And then I'll put like a nice moisturizer on, and I will use like a device that makes all those ingredients go in deeper into my face. And then I'll go about and I'll drink wine and eat dinner with Byron, because I take off my makeup as soon as I get home. I don't like being around the house with makeup on.
No serum?
I guess the elastin is a serum.
Okay.
It has like peptides
no
and stuff inside. Oh, I do use that.
Okay.
Some days. I've been skipping some steps. These are only my must-haves, like every night.
I said briefly, yeah.
When I go back upstairs for bedtime, then I put on snail mask or like snail stuff on my face. And then I will wear my LED face mask for 10 minutes. Yeah, every night. Oh, and eye cream.
Ooh.
And I go to bed by 9:00.
Oh, nice.
I'm crazy about my sleep. I sleep at 9:00. I wake up at 6:00, and it's the best. And I have an 8 sleep mattress that regulates the temperature according to my sleep cycle. And I wear an Oura ring so that I can see what my sleep quality was like. And if my sleep quality is failing me, then I fix it somehow.
That cooling mattress, has that made a big impact for you?
I love it.
Why?
I don't know why. It's so nice. I didn't really realize how much temperature impacts your sleep, but every morning I wake up, like when I open my eyes, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect temperature. And actually Byron was like, this mattress has ruined my life because now I can't wake up early and go work out because I just want to stay in bed.
Really?
It's so toasty and delicious. And Byron's side is a different temperature than my side.
Wait, what do you mean toasty? I thought it's supposed to cool you.
It cools you and warms you at different times of the night.
Oh.
Because during different parts of your sleep cycle, you're supposed to be different temperatures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, sleep is like a non-negotiable. And I even don't want to even hang out with my friends because I want to go to sleep on time.
Do you think that's what gives you the energy to do all this? Making sure you get 8 to 9 hours of sleep? I
guess. I don't know. Like, it's funny because I try so hard to sleep well, and some mornings I still wake up and I'm like, I didn't sleep enough. So tired. I think, you know what it is it's the social media. I'm just in a routine. Like you were saying earlier, it's part of your life. It's just part of my life. I don't even think really twice about it anymore. I know that I have to make videos coming Thursday and sit down and just grind and do that. But I don't like think about it like a lot of people who are just starting off social media. That's the hardest part, is figuring out getting into the routine of what social media will demand from you. But kind of like have been doing this for a while now. So now I'm like, okay, I got to make 3 videos this week. Okay, I could do that. But until then, I don't really think about what I'm going to be doing because I'm doing the dentistry part.
No, but that sleep thing, that you inspired me. This is why I do
good.
Because see, everybody has their habits. Everybody has their secret sauce of what makes them great. Sleep is something that I've always struggled with.
Why?
I used to have really bad insomnia. I would always toss and turn for like 30 minutes to an hour before I could sleep. It's way better now. I don't have that problem anymore. Thank God. I take this melatonin liquid spray from On It. That's changed my life. Like no matter how, like I can't fight it. Like put the sprays in, within an hour, I'm like ready to knock out. And then when I close my eyes, I'm out. Even as a kid, sleepovers, I'd be the last one to fall asleep. And I hated it. I would hate
being the last one to fall asleep is the worst. I think insomnia is like being in prison. It's the worst. I've had insomnia, and if I have a stretch of time where I have insomnia, I'll take a little nibble of Unisom or something. But you know what? I don't know if this is scientifically backed, but I feel like the LED face mask that I wear, the red light one, I swear I sleep better after I do that for 10 minutes. The days that I skip the LED face mask, I can't sleep. Like the sleep doesn't feel as delightful. I should look it up. There has to be something.
You should do an experiment and check.
I have to check PubMed.
Maybe. Supposedly the red light helps your mitochondria make new, like it helps your energy because it stimulates your mitochondria. So there's a cell, like on your cell, like the level of your cells, there's something happening. So maybe there is something to it.
Whatever is happening, it's good. And I sleep because my brain needs to be a little healthier. So that's why I started sleeping more. I guess everyone starts sleeping more for different reasons, but I started noticing after I had the baby, I think it's pregnancy brain actually, but I couldn't really like even put sentences together. I would talk and I'd be like in the middle of my sentence and I'd be like, what's the word? I'm making it sound like I'm like a lot more challenged and stupid than I am, but still it's really humbling, I think, when you cannot put words together and you can't express what you're thinking effectively. That was really frustrating for me.
I'm starting to have that. I can't recall things.
You gotta sleep. That's when your brain regenerates. You gotta sleep. And I take ginkgo biloba supplements because I was listening to Doc Amen. He said the prettiest brains, he scans people's brains for a living. He says the prettiest brains take ginkgo biloba.
Wow. I'm writing this down. I'm doing the LED mask.
Ginkgo biloba. You need CoQ10. I also take this gel. What was it called? It's from Symbiotica. Damn it. Can't remember what it's called.
You need to sleep. You get good sleep last night?
Take it every day. And it's like expensive. It's like $1 per day, a little less than $1 per day to have this packet of gel. But I am one of those people where I will spend $1 bajillion on vitamins that I will potentially pee out if there is a chance, there's like a split chance that it'll help. I'm like,
oh, me too.
I might as well.
I'm all for it.
And it's good for your skin too.
What is?
All these vitamins and things.
Sold.
Yeah.
Hey, before we wrap up, you mentioned you had a course on Instagram, or tell me about that. If people want to learn more, or they want to, like everything you talked about on how you do social media and what you learned, how can we find that?
Yes, my course is called Leverage. It's basically social media for dentists. So I don't know how many people are dentists listening to this, but I packaged everything that I learned in the last 6 years into a course that I felt was the blueprint of what I've done throughout the years. I find that a lot of dentists really struggle with social media, especially because what we traditionally do in marketing when we're dentists is we pay agencies to do our Google ads and things like that. So a lot of times doesn't really require our own time. There are agencies that do social media for dentists, and from every agency that I've looked at, I've never been impressed with any one of them. I feel like they buy their clients' followers, feel like the content is generic. And I'm like, dude, I literally built my Instagram making videos in my kitchen. Like, you guys can do this. You guys can do this, and stop giving them your money. Like, this should be the portion of your marketing that is free, that is not generic, that is showcases who you are as a dentist, and it should be fun. That's what the course is about. And as dentists or service providers, and for chiropractors too, I guess the course could be for chiropractors too. It's similar-ish, where our jobs online, it's not just to grow pure followers. It is a numbers game where followers help, but the goal is to reach people who can come into our physical locations and utilize our services. The strategy is different than just pure growth on Instagram. So it's just helping dentists get in the mindset to do stuff like that. If not interested in the course, that's also cool. I have a newsletter, and I think that is one of my babies, where it goes out every Sunday. And every week I find a video that's gone viral on like TikTok or Instagram. And I sort of deconstruct what's going on in the video so that people can also become students of the game and start seeing why certain videos do well and certain videos don't do well. Because a lot of dentists feel frustrated. They will try their best at making a video, but it kind of flops. And they're like, why? Why is it flopping? Well, your video probably could have been improved with XYZ. And again, I'm self-taught, but I've learned all these things about video creation, like how to make a hook and a CTA and, being somewhat concise, but also getting people invested in the content of the video, how to keep people's attention, those types of things. And also it's a good reminder on what's trending so that you can stay relevant. And what's hard with a lot of what we do is we're working, so we don't scroll all the time and we don't know what the trend is until the trend is gone already. So I try to keep people kind of up to date with the newsletter, and it's fun. It's free. It's like my little baby.
So leverage and newsletter, where can they get that? Is it on do you have a website or?
I do have a website. Okay. So I have a landing page for the newsletter. Okay. I have a landing page for the leverage too. Well, the leverage, I make everybody watch a webinar in order to get access to that, because it's not for everyone. I don't think social media is for everyone. I think different marketing strategies work differently for people. For me, Google Ads has never worked, but social media has been amazing. Not everyone will be successful with social media. It really depends on how diligent you are. Maybe some people are just a little bit more gifted in social media. Some people are more determined. And if you're one of those people that just thinks it's annoying as hell, you're probably not going to love it. So invest in the course if you feel like you got to get on this social media train and you just need a little boost, a little direction on how exactly not to waste your time.
Okay, Joyce. So if someone wants to take your leverage course or sign into your newsletter, can they just send you a message, DM you on Instagram?
They can DM me.
Okay. Let me
Please
rephrase
DM
it then.
me.
What's your Instagram? Tell us your Instagram, your YouTube, your everything. Is it all the same handle or what?
It's all the same. It's Joyce the Dentist.
Joyce,
the Dentist. I'm even maybe I should switch all of my handles to just Joyce.
Can you?
But it's too hard. Joyce the Dentist is trademarked.
Is there someone that has a Joyce handle?
I think so. I haven't checked.
So how would you do it? You buy them out?
It won't be consistent amongst all platforms because Joyce, someone probably already has it.
Yeah. I like Joyce the Dentist. I think it's easy and it's catchy and it's easy.
I like Joyce the Dentist too. So I was thinking about doing just Joyce, my name on YouTube, because that's the only platform that I really want to start just doing.
You want to do normal
stuff.
Content. You don't want to do dentist content.
Yeah. No more dentist content.
I think your audience will still like it, even if you don't.
Yeah. I think it's almost like starting from scratch. I'll just have to build a new audience. That's so
you might not have to. You might not have to.
Yeah. We'll have to be a grind on that. We'll see.
Well, Joyce, this was very informative. This was fun. And I felt heard. I felt seen.
Hey!
And I learned a lot, and I'm going to work on up my sleep game. But thanks for your time. Thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it. And hopefully one day I will meet you in person. But until then, we will stay friends virtually. Keep grinding out there. Keep sleeping well and keep inspiring.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right, Joyce.
Bye.
Bye.